Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, or whatever time of day it is at your end if you're watching this at some of the random time on YouTube. It is 11:15, which is way later than I intended to stream this evening. I was going to get this done much earlier in the day, but stuff happens, as they say. So today we are going to finish off patch 3.4, which, as I've said in the previous episode, is probably one of my favourite world and lore expanding patches in the 3.x series. Coming off the bat today of the big long, in fact it might still be going on, the big long 14-hour anniversary style live stream that the Square Enix team are currently doing for Final Fantasy XIV. Lots of interesting things announced during that stream, including the ability to put ventures in a currency tab rather than having them clogging up your actual inventory. Where are my ventures? There. So they will be in a currency tab on their own, as will certain beast tribe currencies, which is fantastic, to be honest. Okay, so let's get to it. In the previous episode, we went and had some feels with Garbu, the kobold future pikeman who suffered a somewhat harrowing loss, or the somewhat harrowing loss of his parents, and we were then called away, or rather we've gone not so much called away as, but we're following a trail of crystals that for some reason, that for some reason have made their way down into Little Alamigo. So let us continue and find out what is going on. This guy here is the Griffin. He's going to be a fairly major character for the rest of this patch and definitely the next patch, and we'll find out why in a moment. So, to review, this is quite handy. We are reliably informed that members of the Alamigan resistance operating here have taken receipt of several large shipments of crystals, our task being to ascertain who and why. Given the size of the settlement, I find it hard to believe that anyone here could be wholly unaware of the Resistance's movements. The challenge, of course, will be finding individuals who are both able and willing to share such information with outsiders. It would seem sensible to divide our forces. Demajen, why don't you question the residents in the eastern half of the town? Alizai and I will do the same in the west, and afterwards we can rendezvous here to share our findings. So, at some point I'm going to do that leaf quest. It's only level 25. So this isn't the first time we've had to have a bit of a trek around Little Alamigo. Obviously we did this way back in the 20s. Hey, the Resistance. So damned if I know, it's not as if I've been used to them. If you set store by all these tales of secret weapons, good luck to you. But I'm too old for the masked bedtime stories. This is our lot. It's time we got used to it. Whee. I see you there, going around asking questions, looking for the Griffin in his lot, I'll bet. Seems they're the talk a Little Alamigo these days. Folk wondering what he's about, what he's got in store for the Garleans, and what's under the mask of his, of course. Some say he's hardly got a face, what with all the scars. Others reckon he's been marked for death by the Empire, and that they'd send a bloody legion if they knew he was here. Your guess is as good as mine. Interestingly, that thing about what's under the mask is a lore topic which actually a lot of people had, especially at the point of this patch coming out, had devoted to Ida and what is under Ida's mask. And of course we do find out what is under Ida's mask towards the end of 3.5. But yeah, the idea that she might be Alamigan royalty, a princess or some such that was cast out when the Empire invaded was a very popular theory back during the HEAVENSWARD time, because by this point in time people had realised that almost all of the characters had got some kind of development from their 1.0 and early 2.0 status. I mean, Minfilia, who a lot of people hated, myself included. No, I didn't hate her. I just found her fairly useless. She obviously has been resurrected, so to speak, as the word of the mother, and she will have more relevance actually fairly soon in 3.4. Thancred obviously has undergone significant changes in the sense that he can't use magic anymore. Ishtola is blind to a certain degree, and she's using her own life force to be able to sense things around her. Alphinaud obviously had his big comeuppance with the mutiny of the Crystal Braves. Alisaie, not only did she experience all of the stuff to do with her grandfather and the Binding Coil of Bahamut and all of the stuff to do with Phoenix, but she's also undergone, the very recent poisoning. Generally speaking, as soon as they've changed their outfit into something that Totoro has made, they've undergone some kind of transition. Estinian, although not a scion, has had his big character-defining moment. Azel had hers in 3.0. Sid and Biggs and Wedge, not so much, but there was a good chunk of stuff for them in the Crystal Tower stuff at level 50 and in the kind of World of Darkness stuff at level 60, which I really must go and do at some point, because I know Party Finders still do it, and I am really only interested. Actually, I must admit, there's some really nice looking gear as well in there that I'd really like to use for glamour. Anyway, I'm getting beside myself talking about character development. So we're going to get some from Minfilia. We're also going to get some for the Warriors of Darkness very shortly, as well as Ida and Papalymo. Let me guess. Come to join the fight, have you? No need to deny it, friend. You're not the first to answer the Griffin's call. While he's lit a fire in every Alamegan's heart, he's also inspired more than a few Uldans to pledge themselves to the cause. And little wonder, the Guardians won't stop until we're all under the yoke. So whoever this Griffin is, he is a charismatic... Where does that go? Nowhere. He's a charismatic and influential orator, somebody who is good at speaking. Let's see what Alisaie and Alphinaud have found out. I suppose I should ask what you've learned, but I think I already know. Not a fat lot. This Griffin seems to be the leader of a newly formed faction within the Resistance, the Masks. Yet despite their growing popularity, no one seems to know much about them, only that they are the most aggressively militant group to join the movement in recent history. Indeed, many claim their commitment to the cause of Alamegan liberation is unrivalled. We can but hope their revolutionary fervour is never channelled in the direction of a primal. Though I feel confident that this is the group who received the crystal shipments, we yet lack proof. Before taking any action, I'd speak with the settlement's leader to confirm my suspicions, and may happen enlist his help while I'm about it. Given that you and Gundobald are already acquainted, maybe it would be best if you took the lead. Shall we? It's interesting that they've brought Alisaie into this and don't necessarily give her anything to say. But here's Gundobald. We haven't been to speak to him for a while. Much as it pleases me to see you again, I can't help but wonder if I should be worried. I hear you and yours have been asking questions. A Griffin? I know of him, as do we all. He and his masks have become a leading faction within the Resistance. There was a suspicion at first, given his secretive ways. He quickly proved himself a charismatic and capable commander. Men are drawn to his passion and his vision. They truly believe that he has what it takes to lead them to victory. Even I cannot help but admire the man for what he's accomplished. But I haven't forgotten Wilward. I was blind to the danger of his ambitions, and you were not. Wilward, of course, was one of the Alamegan youth that we saved from doing something daft with summoning a Freet way back in the 20s. and who then subsequently joined the Crystal Braves, and we found murdered, we're assuming by Ilberd or one of Ilberd's cronies, in the 2.x storyline, and we found him murdered at Earth's Fount just before shit went down right at the end of the expansion, at the end of the final patch. So it's unsurprising that Gundewald is a little bit weary. Weary? Wary. The Griffin will soon deliver a speech to our people at the Sunken Temple of Khan. Go and see him with your own eyes, weigh his words with your own heart. How convenient. 'Tis but a pity Thancred is not here to join us. You two go on ahead. I shall stay behind and wait for him. Alizé. Whatever could be keeping him. If he's taken the scenic route, leaving us to do all the hard work, I shall treat him to a piece of my mind. I must admit, all the way through this last chunk of 3.x and through the Stormblood 4.0 storyline, I do find that Alizé's writing is significantly better than Alphinaud's, which is possibly due to my bias against the annoying little shite. And it's also probably to do with the fact that she's snarky and speaks her mind, which appeals to me as a person, let alone as a writer. So yes, Alizé is probably, I think, my favourite character from the Stormblood main story, which I will talk about more as and when we get to it. What's Blabimu got to say? Is he here for the Sunken Temple Heart? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, so we are going to get a bit of a cutscene now where we're introduced properly to the Griffin. I think. Has it already begun? I hear voices coming from within. Yes. Yes, we are. Crowd of people, and this is the Griffin.
Brothers and sisters, 20 years ago, Alamigo, our home, was claimed by the Garlean Empire.
You may recognize his voice.
In our haste to overthrow the King of Ruin, we turned a blind eye to our foes in the north. With our glorious revolution, we but laid a path for a new tyrant to succeed the old. And when confronted with our failure, we fled. Not a day goes by that I do not think of those we left behind. Think of them and feel ashamed. And I know each and every one of you feels the same. We abandoned them, our own flesh and blood, to labor till their backs gave in and their breath gave out, building the twisted steel ramparts which now mar our once majestic mountains.
And we will get to see those twisted steel ramparts during the kind of level 60 to 62 stretch and the level 67 to 70 stretch in Stormblood.
We abandoned
and they are quite impressive.
The brave and true, to fight and die for their country, or worse, to be conscripted and sent off to rob another poor bastard of his home. We abandoned them, the meek and powerless, to bow and scrape when the Garleans pass, to sully themselves that they might live to see another day of misery. The Black Wolf may be dead, but a new Imperial Viceroy reigns in Alamigo now. A beast, not a fraction as merciful.
That would be Xenos Iegalvus, the son of Varys, the newly elected or appointed emperor. Varys Zos, Galvus, I think it is his title. And yeah, Xenos is... Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good description. He is a beast, not a fraction as merciful. He is a hunter. He is an animal, and he is expertly portrayed, in my opinion, with what little screen time he gets during Stormblood.
You all know the Eorzean Alliance will do naught to oppose him. For all their promises and platitudes, they will not act if there's no profit in it. Only we can free our brothers and sisters from the Empire's tyranny, my friends. Only we have the courage to stand and fight. They have imprisoned us. They have enslaved us. And they have murdered us. But no more. Blood demands blood, and the Garleans shall pay for every drop they have spilt upon our lands.
It is quite difficult to write a rousing speech that doesn't repeat itself too much, but repeats just enough of the right words to subliminally get the right message across. And I do think this speech from the Griffin is... They must have spent quite a lot of time working on this speech. You can tell that they don't always spend big chunks of time drafting and redrafting some of their dialogue in the main story, and especially not in some of the side quests. But this has had some care put into it.
This I promise you, for we have a power within us, my friends, a power befitting our pride, our righteousness. Only join us, and we shall grant you the means to unleash it, and together we shall see the Alamegan standard raised over the mountains of Gia Urbania once more.
It is a little bit of pity, I must admit, that they don't have physics on these dangling tassels, because they look a bit daft sticking up in the air like that. Again, this speech here does call forward to something that happens at the end of Stormblood, where we do indeed raise the Alamegan standard over the mountains of Gia Urbania. But he's riling up the crowds.
A power befitting their pride. Not at all ominous, that.
Yes, because of course it is passion and faith and belief that fuels the power of the primals.
Wait, is that...
Hold on.
What are you two doing here?
Admiring your cleavage. I mean, we're watching the show. No,
you the same
that
thing.
sounds wrong as well. Hi.
Oh, well, this is quite the surprise.
They've changed Papa Lima's voice for this. He's not quite as old and crotchety sounding as he was in 2.x, which is, I think, a bit of a shame, actually, because I think it fitted him slightly better.
If you see what I see, if you feel as I feel...
Might I suggest we continue this conversation in more agreeable surroundings?
There's a little bit of that kind of sound to it, but he doesn't sound as crotchety. So he suffers, I think, in the same way that Merlewib did. I much preferred her voice actress in 2.x. Mind you, she doesn't get to say much in 3.x, so... Of all the places to meet, it has to be fate. You seem rather more rugged and world-weary than when last we spoke. Yeah, well, yeah, it's been 10 levels. 11 levels. We've, ended the Dragonsong War and everything since then. Words cannot express how glad I am to see you both alive and well. And you? Though it was pretty obvious you and Demajen would be fine. The Crystal Braves never had a realistic chance of capturing any of the Scions, divided as they were and distrusted by the better part of Eorzea. But if you truly believe that, forgive me, what exactly have you two been doing all this time? We're paying a favour, After the banquet we had no choice but to flee Uldar, and we would not have been able to do so without the aid of some old friends from the Resistance. That's right, they smuggled us out of the city and sheltered us in Little Alamigo, all at great risk to themselves. Obviously we couldn't let that go unacknowledged, so we offered to help them out with their operations for a while. When we learned of the Sign's exoneration, as Lolarito had severed all ties with the Crystal Braves and the General Barn had been reinstated, we resolved to make contact, but having long since discarded our link pearls as a precautionary measure, our options were rather limited. To make matters more complicated, we were embroiled in a delicate operation at the time, leaving me with little choice but to entrust a letter to a courier. I gather from your puzzled expressions, however, that you never received it. Nope. To be honest, we thought this might happen. While the masks were happy to let the refugees spread the word within the community, they were pretty strict about communicating with outsiders. Oh, we also heard a rumour that the Griffin doesn't want us meddling in his affairs. The Griffin mistrusts the signs of the Seventh Dawn? Curious. It is well known that we're no friends to Garlemald. One would think the man we saw beseeching all and sundry to join his colours would welcome our support. Ah, I should say that the man you saw was not, in fact, the Griffin, but an impersonator, and a talented rabble-rouser to boot. It would not surprise me if he were responsible for the majority of these public appearances. As you may have gathered, the Griffin is an extremely cautious and distrusting man, who has made every effort to conceal his identity. Even when we participated in a raid under his direct command, we were not permitted to approach him. It's hard to know what to make of it all. The secrecy, the impersonators, the masks. Oh, the irony, Ida. Stunned faces. What? It's not as if I'm making all of you wear one. Mine only covers half my face. It's completely different. Anyway, when we heard the Griffin was due to give a speech, we thought it might be a good opportunity to get a better sense of the man behind the... to get a better sense of the man. For all the good it did. And now you've heard the whole of it, but tell me, what prompted you to take an interest in the Griffin? We've been chasing some crystals. Summoning? You're not serious. I can't believe it. The Resistance would never even entertain such a ridiculous plan. But the Griffin, well, the man is an enigma. I cannot say with any confidence what he would or would not do. What I can say, however, is that the speech we heard today was not the first to make reference to a power capable of defeating the Empire. The masks have made many such claims of late. I confess, I'd assumed it to be a mere bluster, but in the context of the shipments of which you spoke, it is not impossible that they are alluding to a primal. Whatever it is, we'll find out together, and if anyone tries to stop us, they'll answer to me. Indeed, that is assuming you'll have us. But of course. Nods. Do-do-do. Just want to check something. Testing. Just want to check something. Testing. Do I sound very echo in this stream, or is it just my imagination? Testing. Do I sound very echo in this stream, or is it just my imagination? Testing. Anyway, what was I actually checking? I was checking this. Okay, so honourable heroes even. Papalimo has a mind to learn the Griffin's true intentions. What's that crunching sound I can hear? Oh, it's that golem moving around. If, as you suspect, the Griffin is indeed plotting to summon a primal, you must needs obtain confirmation while there is yet time to act. To that I propose to question his double. Given his role as the group's de facto mouthpiece, I would not be surprised if he were one of the Griffin's closest associates, And while he may not be aware of the most sensitive details, he can probably tell us the masked plan in broad strokes. Like the man who he impersonates, however, he is wary of outsiders. He will not expose himself without a suitable incentive. My plan is as follows. You and Alphino will pose as adventurers fallen on hard times, inspired by his words to take up arms for a noble cause. Ida and I, as members of the Resistance, will recount tales of your past achievements and testify as to your usefulness in the struggles ahead. With our enthusiastic assurances still ringing in his ears, he will decide to welcome you in person, and we will arrange a meeting. We'll need to look the part that we might maintain the charade, until we've been cornered at least. Here, this should be enough to purchase suitable garments from Telebot, and to have him rub a respectable amount of dirt on them for good measure. Any questions? It all seems simple enough, thank you. And with that, let us be off. Interestingly enough, I've actually still got the weathered stuff from the weathered shepherd's tunic and stuff, which we're going to go and buy some of now. Got them from the last time we had to do this way back in, what was it, level 18, 19, something like that, when we were chasing after Ungust, the merchant who betrayed us to the Emulger. Hey, you gonna buy what? Don't know what you're up to, but I want no part of it. Well, you're the ones with the gill, and seeing as you're friends with Papalimo. There, tunic and slops for you both, tailored and treated to your tastes. And off with him before someone sees us together. Clothes maketh the man, as they say. Right then, I'll go and change and see you at the spot Papalimo marked on our maps. Yay, I am a weathered shepherd, honest. Right, we're going to get some more story now. Oh, Alphino, my boy. You do look the part. In fact, that kind of suits you more. Well, look at us, a pair of down-and-out adventurers, down-at-heel adventurers, seeing a chance to recapture past glories. Yes, this should suffice. Yeah, my big-ass metal kind of gauntlets and greaves definitely offset the outfit quite nicely. And now we play the waiting game. I'm no good at the waiting game. Hello.
My thanks, comrades. You must be the esteemed adventurers of whom I've heard so much. I understand you have taken an interest in our cause.
A great interest, you might say. Your words have certainly made quite an impression on my friend and I. The Resistance has long, and some would say wisely, avoided open engagements with the Garleans, but you and yours seem confident against the world in arms. I can only assume you have good reason to be so bold. Why, one might even think you are planning to summon a primal. Because that would do much to explain the sizable shipment of crystals you recently received from your smuggler friends, whom our Ishgardian allies have since detained, lest you wonder.
I'd like to hear more about the Griffin. The real Griffin. Your performance earlier didn't fool us.
Ah, the famous scions of the Seventh Dawn. I should have known better than to think I could conceal the truth from you lot. You are right. I am not the Griffin, but I speak with his voice, and it was at his behest that we procured those crystals.
What's he got planned?
You are wrong, however, if you think that we procured them to summon a primal. We used them to reach an accord with the Amalja. In exchange for crystals to summon their god, they will aid us in the fight for Alamegan liberation.
Oh dear.
You've got to be joking. Have you gone completely mad? When people find out you helped the Lizardmen summon Ifrit, they'll turn on the Resistance. Alamigo will never be free.
This isn't a fairy tale, girl. We don't have the luxury to play at being honourable heroes. It's because the likes of you wouldn't sully your saintly hands that Alamigo's been under the yoke for the past 20 years. But the Griffin won't stand for it, and neither will we. We're ready to do whatever it takes.
Yes, including making a bed with your enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend and all that.
What proof do you have of this arrangement with the Amalja?
What? Aside from a lack of crystals? None. But the beastmen have a great big pile of the things if you fancy looking. You might want to hurry, though. It'll not be long before they summon their god.
Oh dear.
Search our camp if you don't believe me. We have naught to hide.
Apart from, you know, the obvious. Faces and all that.
If there is a cache to be found, Ida and I will find it.
Then let us be off. Are you perchance the Warrior of Light?
Who, me? In this outfit? Nah.
Aye, I thought so. You should know that a great many who have joined us did so because you saved them. Because you showed them that one brave woman can make a difference. You saved me too once. Helped a friend over in Quarry Mill make some medicine I needed. But that was a lifetime ago.
Damn it, I can't remember who he is. Oh, I did this not too long ago. It was in... I'm just very quickly flipping through the Umbral era quest lines. Not that. Not that. It wasn't Method, it was one of Method's friends. Galleon. Galleon was the name of the guy that we saved, so I'm thinking that must be who this guy is. Yeah, if you remember, he'd been horribly poisoned, and we needed to help Method make a salve, a remedy, with Buscaran's help, I seem to recall, to help him.
On behalf of my brothers and sisters, I thank you. You gave us hope where there was none, courage and strength when all was lost. We shall not squander your gift.
Oh, dearie, dearie me.
I know that look, Ida, and I do not like it. You cannot seriously be contemplating taking up arms with that band of cutthroats.
I just...
If the Griffin and his men have their way, it is only a matter of time before the situation in Alamigo comes to a head. Your homeland's future teeters on a knife edge, and any reckless action, however small, could have irrevocable consequences. You mustn't lose sight of that, Ida. When the time comes, we must all make our choices, but we must do so in full possession of the facts. Now, let us away. There is work to be done.
Once again, Papalimo proving to be the calming influence that Ida desperately needs. She is quite impassioned about taking back her homeland. I'm assuming. Can put her actual gear back on now. Quarry meal, he said. Do you remember? Forgive me, you cannot be expected to recall every name and face, and besides, it's not as if it matters. I've long admired how you live in the present, how you focus on the problems at hand and always keep moving forward. Which is quite interesting and ironic, considering the level 60 to 70 Dark Knight quests. So let us keep moving forwards together. We must find and secure those crystals. There's no time for looking back. Okay. Coming up now is One Life for One World, which is a big quest. It requires a solo duty. There is a lot of interesting stuff here. It was one of my favourite quests out of the entirety of all the 3.x patches. If we take the Griffin to double at his word, then the crystals are now somewhere within Zaharak, ready to be put to use by the Amalja. We must apprise Alizé of all that we've learned. I'll join you both in Little Alamigo after I've changed. You're going to change into somebody useful? No, maybe that's unfair. Ah, Thancred's made it. Good you waiting, eh? My apologies. Now that Thancred has finally arrived, maybe you could share your latest findings? Ran into Papalimo here. You mean to tell me that while we were worrying ourselves sick, Ida and Papalimo were here all along? Well, Estella will be relieved. And also angry. Mainly angry, I should think. As for the crystals, what choice do we have? We cannot very well leave them in the hands of the Amalja. For all we know, they could be preparing to summon Ifrit even as we speak. We must make for Zaharak without delay. Agreed. If there is naught else to discuss, oh God. Agreed. If there is naught else to discuss, let us depart at once. Who is that masked man? And so they go forth, in accordance with the Griffin's plan. The players gather to assume their marks on a stage wreathed in flame. Ere long the curtains shall rise, and the drama for which I am author, gods forgive me, shall at last be performed. Nothing else remaineth save to stand at the ready and pray that the chance is seized. For never shall we know its like again. Oh, Urianger, what have you done? And also, why does that robe he's wearing have flowers on the back? Oh, handily, we've been teleported out to it. All seems calm here. Is it possible that we've been deceived? You'd think there'd be more obvious signs that something was afoot, but if anything, this place seems quieter than I remember it. I have a bad feeling about this. I confess I expected a warmer greeting, but we must not jump to conclusions, not until we have braved the bowl of embers. We must be ready to engage the enemy at any moment. If you'd make any final preparations, pray do so now. I shall await your signal. Upon proceeding to the Bowl of Embers, several really cool cutscenes, will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. So I should take the opportunity to pour myself a drink. Okay, let's find out what's going on with the Warriors of Darkness, with Urianger's mysterious plan, with the Griffin.
This isn't right. The Amalja would never leave this place so poorly guarded.
Not willingly, no.
The saviors of Eorzea. Slow as ever.
We've been doing other things, boy.
By the 12. Will you never learn?
You know, you're right. Mayhap it is time for a change of tack. Killing primals, tormenting beastmen, hastening the birth of a new god. It's all a bit much, isn't it? And frankly, we don't have the leisure to do it. But killing the Warrior of Light, on the other hand, that would soon plunge Eorzea into chaos.
Yeah, there is only one of us.
One life for one world. A fair exchange! Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, so by killing us, that would throw enough chaos into the world to force a rejoining, because without us, Hydaelyn would basically be forced to create another Warrior of Light, which would weaken her to the extent that she'd actually have to consume one of the shards. Ching! Ooh.
Lest you forget, you've more than one opponent.
Oof. That's a lovely callback to the 1.0 opening cinematic.
Defend me!
Nom. Nom 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 nom.
I sense you will offer more than mere target practice, unlike your sister.
Ugh.
Alize!
Alize's fine.
Did I not tell you, Alphino? I am not the girl I once was.
And here we get Alize's hero moment.
My brother was always the clever one, while my talents lay elsewhere.
Whoop. Red Mage confirmed.
If you would dare to stand against us, to destroy all that we hold dear, then you shall die by my sword.
Our swords.
Let's finish this.
I really like this fight. There is, however, a trick to it. You don't want to go in guns blazing, because that will basically make you fail it, as I did the first time. And the second time. I did it on the third try. Third time's a charm. Oops. What you actually want to do is actually, I think for this first bit, you just want to be killing whoever. Oh, actually, you want to be killing the devout because she heals.
Soon enough.
There's no escape.
Are you invulnerable? Oh. But yeah, up until this point, it just basically seems like a normal instance battle, yeah? Just a normal solo duty. Some guys. The Warrior of Darkness says, who will not be denied. Wait, what? And you'll notice they've now got the Echo, so it's just brought them back from the dead. So just like we would normally have in the, you know, every trial that we do, if we're all defeated in our 8-man dungeons or whatever, we get the Echo and it brings us back and it gives us more HP and it gives us more attack power, and it allows us to eventually kind of brute force our way through. And again.
No more games.
Ow, ah, and then we get fettered. So you can't win that bit. You need to get to this stage where a cutscene will play. And now things get interesting. This is basically a fancy Holmgang.
Now.
Kapow, 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 kapow.
What?
The chains!
Yes, well done, Alvino.
You snake! You would betray us as well?
He that holdeth fast unto his convictions shall never count betrayal amongst his crimes, though all the world may call him villain. My path is unchanged, my creed sacrosanct. This I believe with all my heart. But say, warrior of darkness, and speak true, what dost thou believe? That rendering up the souls of thy world in service to the rejoining will grant it salvation? Nay.
By the 12! Oriange!
In case you hadn't figured that out already.
Mine apologies, Master Alphino. That the brightest light might shine, duty did compel me to walk in darkest shade.
Uriange has a plan.
You sweet fool. I was almost willing to believe you had turned against us. I expect a full explanation when this is over. For now, may I assume you have turned your cloak for the last time?
Thou mayest, my lady. By thy leave.
Even odds then. No matter. We'll crush the lot of you in one fell swoop!
Understood.
Meteor.
Hearken to me. We only have one chance. Channel your ether into my blade that I might strike before the mage casts his spell. I cannot do it alone, but together we can defeat them.
It's a little bit video gamey, this section. It has to be said, but the kind of epicness of it works just about anyway. So basically, this is a limit break battle.
They come.
And what you want to do for this section is don't get involved. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but what you actually want to do is wait and see.
I must have more ether.
You need to get rid of people that are attacking Alizé. Or yourself, because you can't channel if you're being attacked. So you need to hit anyone that's killing you first of all. Oh yeah, you actually need to you need to interact with the Blade of Lights. There we go.
The ether. It's not enough.
Yeah, so you need to kill whoever's attacking you first of all. And by that time... Ooh, jeez. They'll start doing some fancy attacks. It's actually quite a complicated fight, this. There we go, so we've almost got enough ether. Right. Now free to channel. Get the ethereal surge debuff.
I can feel it. Just a little more.
And here we go again. Yeah, everybody else can actually hold their own. Right, at this point we need to kill the ranger.
Hurry it up, neighbour!
Now there is the
I'll crush you! I think we're gonna have to kill the Warrior of Darkness here, aren't we? Yeah. Oops, that was not what I meant to hit. Can't remember how many times we have to do this. It might be 3? Right. Courage, friends.
Damn it. There we go. That's it, we've got them.
'Tis done. With this blade, I banish the darkness.
No. Not like this.
You got limit brooked. And now for some feels. That may have taken a little bit out of Alize.
Alize, are you hurt?
She was hardly recovered from that poisoning.
A touch dizzy, but otherwise fine. Thank you.
And she has just channeled a huge amount of ether.
And there you have it. Our friend is too stubborn to die.
About that.
We are far from finished. Or have you never considered how we came to this world?
Indeed. The Ascians can do it because they are ethereal beings. But these guys... How come if they come from a separate world, why do they look like Haya and Rugadin and so on and so forth? They've got their own crystals.
You mean, like the Ascians?
Yep.
Just so. As the Ascians flee unto the rift twixt planes with crystals of darkness, so did these warriors come hither with crystals of light.
Eloquent, as always. Aye, like the Ascians, we too are beyond death. You cannot defeat that which is eternal.
Or as Judge Death would have it, you cannot kill what does not live.
Wait! Such methods as the Ascians employ require the renunciation of the flesh. You would have had to...
Die. Before they could come across. They're already dead.
At long last you see. To save our world, we gave our lives. We were just adventurers trying to make our way. An odd job here, a favor there. We never aspired to be warriors of light. But word of our deeds spread, and soon people were calling us heroes. They placed their hopes and dreams on our shoulders and bid us fight for all that was good and right. We fought, and we fought, and we fought, until there was no one left to fight. We won! And now our world is being erased from existence.
And that is how you make compelling villains.
We did everything right. Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this. You of all people should understand. We will not falter. We brought our world to the brink of destruction, and now we must save it.
It must have been hard for them, realising that, the fact that all the good they did meant that the darkness was so banished so completely that the light would completely wash over and ruin their world. It's no wonder they are all ever so slightly unhinged. But again, great antagonist writing. I won't say villain again, because they're not villains. They are people who truly believe that they have made a mistake and that the only way they can fix that is by doing deeds that are a little bit reprehensible in order to save millions and billions of people, their entire world. You really do feel for them. Well, at least you're supposed to. I mean, if you don't, maybe you don't play these kind of games for the fantasy and the story of it. But I personally believe that that this kind of Warriors of Darkness storyline, although reasonably short compared to some of the others, is some of the best writing that they've put out in all of Final Fantasy XIV.
I've died before, Arbet. I'm not afraid to die again.
Just in case you didn't know what the main guy's name actually is, it's Arbet.
No matter how many times we fall, we must rise and carry on the fight for those we left behind.
You'll notice there is only 5 of them. They're missing one of the 6 elements.
To have known the depth of sorrow and embraced the highest sacrifice. Nonetheless, Master Louis-Sois, guide my hand, I pray you, as fate's thread spinneth upon this most capricious spindle. Quickly! Thou must needs invoke the power of thy crystal.
We've got the one that they haven't. Do it. And here we are in the Ethereal Sea, including a few extras. We put others with us, because of course this is the first time Alphino has been here.
Such pain, such sorrow. Oh, my dear children.
Madeline.
It can't be.
Mother Heidelin, hearken unto your children's plea. From 2 worlds do we gather, and from 2 worlds do we offer a bounty of light. In this desperate hour we do beseech your intercession. We beg an audience with the word of the Mother, with your chosen Minfilia.
Who, if you remember, exploded because Heidelin couldn't keep it together. She wasn't strong enough. That was in patch 3.2. And this, of course, has been part of Uriange's plan.
Nor your sacrifices unnoticed. Though many are lost, there are those we can yet save, whom I can yet save.
Hi.
Minfilia.
Blessed children of the first, the light of your world hath grown blinding in its radiance, but it is not yet absolute. I will hie me to your world, and there take unto myself the light which riseth even now to drown it, as darkness once did drown another.
The 13th, the Void.
Now you deign to answer our prayers? I will suffer this farce no longer!
This isn't going to work. Nope.
As the Ascians must serve as instruments of Zodiark's will, so too must others carry out the will of Hydaelyn. But for the boon you have granted her, she has grown strong enough to set me free, that I might serve as her emissary.
Yeah, so it wasn't that she didn't want to help, it was that she physically couldn't help. She got no way of sending a servant over there. The Ascians had done so much damage. They'd weakened to such an extent that she had no emissary. Not like Elidibus, the emissary of Zodiark. But now, she has Minfilia.
Your suffering, your sacrifice, your supplications. She has heard all. We will not let the first fall to light.
And of course she can do something about that, because Hydaelyn is the light, just as Zodiark is the darkness. But Zodiark was imprisoned and didn't care enough, I suppose, about the 13th to save that. Whereas Hydaelyn...
Thank you, Urianger, for bringing everyone here. It fills my heart with joy to look upon the faces of my friends once more.
And she is herself now as well. She's not just a voice piece for Hydaelyn, although she acts in that role as well. She is now Minfilia.
In taking you unto her bosom, I knew that Hydaelyn had bequeathed to you a sliver of her grace, granting you strength long sought. And in treating with the Ascians, I learnt of a star like unto our own, a doomed world of fallen heroes, in whom I glimpsed ourselves, the first.
So this is Urianger explaining his motivations and his reasoning.
Full long did I search for a means to save this world, concluding at the last that the answer lay in the power of blessed crystals. And thus did I labor to set light against dark.
So he's planned this confrontation from the very beginning.
Yet I knew from the beginning that this salvation would not come without sacrifice. For the instrument of the first's deliverance would of necessity be required to journey thither, there to remain, mayhap forever.
You orchestrated all of this, not to save her, but to send her away!
No, Alphino, to save an entire world.
One life for one world. Such was the bargain, and you the coin, though it were not mine to spend.
Have we not walked together in the light of the crystal, and at her bidding borne witness to the joys and sorrows of this land? Each and every one of you knows my heart. If this be the price I must pay, I pay it gladly.
You would go alone then?
Oh, poor Thancred.
My dearest Thancred, you who have ever watched over me, I am truly grateful for all you have done on my behalf, as would my father be. Your kindness, your compassion, your love. These are your gifts to me, and our gifts to them, forming a bond which transcends time and space.
Sometimes I forget you are not the child I once knew. Make me proud.
Long have I watched you from Heidelin's side. Watched as you nurtured and kept safe the light of the dawn. The dark recesses of the world hide untold secrets and dangers. Thus do I entrust to you, Tupsimati. I pray you, keep to the path that you may never have need of it.
Because she was holding that right towards the end of the 2.x storyline when she turned back, if I remember correctly.
It would seem the power of our crystals is all but spent. Perhaps, if there is naught else to be done.
Hear me, servant of Heidelin. If you would have us place our trust in you, then I would ask a favor. Take us with you. Take us home. We were blind to the truth once, so I tell you this, as one fool to another. Light, dark, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you choose to use them. We made our choice and you see what came of it, so please, forge a different path. Seize a better fate.
Keep in mind, of course, that they are dead. They can't go home. They've got no bodies to go back to.
It's a strange feeling. So many times have I watched you depart, my heart filled with worry. And ever did you return to me in triumph. Someday, when I have found a way to free this star from her sorrow, I promise you I shall repay the favor.
And that is the heroic send-off for Minfilia. But of course, Demajen, her mother,
Thank you, Demajen, for everything.
there we go. Hope you all enjoyed those feels. Let's talk to some people. Though things did not unfold as perhaps I would say, I truly believe that she... Forgive me, I should not have spoken. It is not my place. Speak thy mind, I do not expect thy forgiveness. It would seem we are in southern Thanalan again. Philly's doing, no doubt. May the 12 speed her on her way, and the Warriors of Darkness too. I cannot help but wonder what awaits those wayward souls. If they gave their lives in order to travel to the source, then in return to the first, would they not? But perhaps that was their wish. Let's just say the same thing. Okay. Final quest of the patch. An ending to mark a new beginning. Which, rather randomly, we get a Wind Up Moon reader from. Forgive me, my thoughts were elsewhere, and this one I know full well there is yet work to be done. The crystals. Leave them to me. I'll go back into Zaharak and secure them. The Amaldi will still be in disarray after the thrashing the Warriors of Darkness gave them. They're not like to notice a lone bard skulking about. But thankfully you don't have to do this, I know, but I want to. I'll see you at the Rising Stones. I should go and find Edom and Papalimo. They must have finished searching the mass camp by now. Not that it matters anymore. You must be tired. I know I am. If thou wilt permit me, my lady, I will ask a question. When didst thou become aware of my independent pursuits? When I saw you meeting with that warrior of darkness in the Ashen and White of the Great Library. I tried not to think the worst. You've never been one to confide in others, so I knew that even were your intentions pure, you would not share your plans with us until you felt the time was right. But I cannot deny that a part of me feared you had simply betrayed us. Would that there had been another way. Know that I took no pleasure in deceiving thee, and that these sins will forever weigh heavy on my heart. I understand why you did what you did, that you but sought to achieve the greatest good while inflicting the least harm. Not many would have the courage to make that choice. But even knowing what came of your actions, I find that I cannot condone them. I'm sorry. Forgive me, but I believe the events of the day have taken their toll on me. I shall like to rest for a while. If thou wilt grant me leave, I will gladly escort thee into a refuge of their own choosing. Once my lady hath regained her strength, we shall join thee at the Rising Stones. Till then, warrior of light. So yeah, a pretty heavy emotionally patch is 3.4. The Warriors of Darkness just go from antagonists in lead with the Ascians to actual heroes, just I suppose on the wrong side. It's a bit of a shame for Ida and Papalimo that they didn't get to see what was going on. Well met, Demajen. Alfredo said you'd be joining us. Just seeing the Griffin's double was telling the truth insofar as we found nothing resembling a sizable cache of crystals in the mass camp. Did you perchance find one in Zaharak? Actually, we found more than that. I don't believe it. The crystals, Minfilia, all of it, it's just... I don't know what it is. I sympathise, Ida. Even now I struggle to comprehend that which I saw. The only thing I can say with any certainty is that I feel blessed to have been granted a final chance to speak with her. 'Twas bittersweet, aye, but also affirming. Alphino, outlived his pastime. Ida and I rejoined the Scions. We've been away far, far too long. Though I am loath to leave the Griffin to his own devices, I feel our investigation would benefit from your more dispassionate perspectives, and I hope that we might in turn offer our own opinions on the many challenges that you have faced in our absence. Gods, it's been absolutely ages, hasn't it? Can't wait to hear about everyone's adventures. We should be glad to recount them, and Tataru's tales may well surprise you. Gundabird. Bold even. Ida? Ida, well be praised it is you. Ida alive and standing there before me in the flesh. I can hardly believe my eyes. Why does Gundabald think she's dead? Ah, come now. Has it really been so long you don't remember me? It's Gundabald. I fought beside your father in the Revolution. Do not think less of our friends. It's been 20 years since the occupation sent us our separate ways. But the Resistance were always welcome in Little Alamigo. They gave us hope. And young Ida most of all. Ah, Ida was always full of fire. Ever the first to volunteer for a mission. Until the day she upped and vanished, that is. There were rumours and we feared the worst. But here you are, alive and well, looking nary a day older. Looking nary a day older. Well, what can I say? I'm sorry for running off like that and making you all worry. It's a long story, but you see, I got involved with my friends here, the Scions. Oh, sorry, we're still the Circle of Knowing back then. Right, anyway, I wanted to come back and tell you, but it was all very secretive stuff at the time, and as you can see, I'm completely fine. I know we've got a lot to talk about, and we will, but right now I've got to hurry back to our headquarters. My friends are expecting me. That's weird. Very forgiver. It's been a very long day for us all. I promise we will visit again at the first opportunity. Let us return to the Rising Stones. So something, as we've known for quite some time actually, is going on with Ida. Hell's taken me for giving you that mask. Yeah, so Papalimo gave her the mask. I think we knew that already. Question is, why did he give Ida the mask? We haven't been back to Mordona in ages. Just have a quick talk to Flamine. You needn't say a word. I know. I know. Wherever she wanders, no matter how far, she will always be with us. That is not the most comforting gesture. Alright, Alphino. Welcome home. I trust your journey was uneventful. You'll be pleased to hear that Thancred has secured the crystals. He sent word a short while ago. Once he's delivered them safely into the Temple Knight's care, he will rejoin us here. We can declare this matter officially resolved. While awaiting your arrival, I took the opportunity to contact Tistola and Kryl and brief them on all that has occurred. I shall request that they return to the Rising Stones at their earliest convenience. Now that our lost friends have been found, it would seem meet to discuss the future. And that is exactly what we are going to do.
Back in the Solar. It's been too long since we were all together like this. Not since after Moonbraider.
We've got some of the perky Ida then, but we've also got this very melancholy Ida, which we haven't seen much of.
Much has changed since then. We ourselves, most of all.
Though not all who were lost could be gathered here today, we may take comfort in the knowledge that those who are not are carrying on the fight.
While I am grateful to our friends in the north for their hospitality, it isn't half good to be back.
Glazed eye, Taos. Taos.
Papalima rightly said, much has changed since we last stood here. The scions of the Seventh Dawn are not as they once were, nor should we be. Our travels in the north brought us into contact with a host of fine and generous people, and their selfless deeds serve to show me that it is not lofty causes that should inform our actions, but our hearts.
Because, of course, it was lofty causes that was Alphino's reason for forming the Crystal Braves in the first place.
And I hope that the Scions might continue in this manner, as individuals driven by individual principles. Provided we all sincerely desire to work towards Eorzea's salvation, I believe the paths we follow to achieve it need not, and should not, be dictated by any single ideal.
Companions bound by a common purpose, free to go whither they will. The idea is not without merit. Very well. I shall resume my research of the primals and the elder gods of Eorzea. Should anyone have need of my findings, you need only ask. I should be glad of your continued assistance.
Well, my main purpose in coming here was to see the signs of the Seventh Dawn restored and my dear friend found. Nevertheless, having involved myself in your struggles, I feel compelled to see them through to the bitter end. For Minfilia's sake. That is, if there are no objections.
No, you and your cutesy little herd can stick around.
You will always be welcome here, Kryl.
Why did you need to look to me for confirmation for that? Just notice she's got cat eyes.
Urianger, can we trust you to carry on your investigation of the Ascians as before?
Not entirely sure why they've changed the pronunciation of Urianger.
Regardless of mine own desires, I am undeserving of your trust, having so villainously deceived you all.
I still prefer the old voice actor for Urianger as well.
Now, I'll hear no more of that. 'Twould be disrespectful of Minfilia's wishes. She entrusted matters here to us, that we might protect this star and understand the truth which hides at her heart. Mayhap I can handle the former, but I think you far better suited to the latter. No?
Very well. Then out of love for my Lady Minfilia and Moonbreeder both, this shall be my solemn charge.
Quite right too.
Papalimo and I should probably return to Thanalan to keep an eye on the Resistance. There's still the matter of the Griffin and the Amalja, not to mention the new Imperial Viceroy. That little lot must be worthy of our attention, right?
Papalimo is not particularly happy.
And what will you do, Alize?
You know I have no great love for organizations and formalities.
Of course, we end up putting you in charge in Stormblood.
That being said, this new approach you propose is not wholly objectionable, and we've always got her to keep us from bickering.
Who, me or Tataru?
But I will suffer no titles. I am not here for House Leveilleur, nor to walk in Grandfather's shadow.
Upon that point, we see eye to eye. If it please you, you may think of me as but another comrade in arms.
Okay, I shall bitch slap you and order you around.
Well then, Alfie, I, for my part, shall see to the paperwork and the finances with my characteristic aplomb.
I would not have it any other way, Tataru.
Alfie.
And we mustn't forget you. What now for the Warrior of Light?
I'm going to go and become a dancing girl for Gegaruju over in Costa del Sol. That may not be strictly true. Do I get a choice here? To strive for those we've lost, for those we can yet save. I think I probably chose that one last time as well.
Indeed.
The path behind us was fraught with hardship, and the path before us will be no less unforgiving. But a new dawn shall break over the realm, and I see before me the faces of those who will deliver it.
That's us. It's official then. Gods, I hope I don't regret this. Leave it to me. I'll make sure she's properly introduced. Ida, sat on her own. Same as it ever was. She seems very down. Seeing that I'm a scion then. Some derives comfort from such titles, but I can't say that I feel any different from before. Well, maybe a twinge of pride. As agreed, we shall spend the coming moons to conduct our own independent research. Should you have need of our services, however, you're of course welcome to seek us out. It is passing strange to think that we may never see Lady Minfilia again. After witnessing so many of our missing comrades return to us, I dare to hope that she might one day do the same. She still might. Oh, do not think I will be bested so easily again. When my competition with Lady Ida has ended, the Scion of the Seventh Dawn shall crown a new champion of the squat. Yes, that seems a little bit out of place. I suppose I should not be surprised. With everyone standing in a circle delivering grand proclamations about their future endeavours, she naturally felt obliged to make it one of her own. Papalimo's a little bit pissed off with Ida by the sound of it. It may be argued that the Great Sundering of the Sorcerer was an aberration, and the existence of the 13 reflections were an offence to the natural order. That, most assuredly, is the Ascians' belief. It was in the hope of opening mine eyes to said revelation that they first came unto me, imagining it sufficient to secure my allegiance. Nor would they have been mistaken were my heart a temple to truth alone. But as a devoted follower of Master Louiswar's teachings, and with the love I bear him and his, I hearken not to their words. I have Sir Emmeric's assurances that the Temple Knights will henceforth keep a close eye on the Ishgardian crystal trade. Oh, and he extends his deepest apologies for your dinner having been cut short. Courteous fellow, isn't he? You'd never guess he was a politician. Is Clarence still purring? What? I can't just seem to. I keep thinking about you and your brother and me. Oh dear Lord! She's thinking about having a threesome with the Boulder brothers. What's Homer doing on his own? Pity we were unable to deal with Ilbert and the Braves. Foreshadowing. Okay. Look at them, the signs of the Seventh Dawn. Look how far we've come. The people we've met, the moments we've shared, the losses we've suffered, the tragedies we've overcome. All of it has made us who we are today. Where we go from here and what the future holds, only the 12 know. But I know that we will find out together. Do-do-do. Cutscene.
One world's heroes are another world's villains. One world's loss, another world's gain. Where men go as one, there is life. And where there is life... My friends, if I may, I would ask that you entrust Tupsimati to me.
Okay.
Clouds gather upon the horizon, and as Master Louisoix's disciple, I would keep it close at hand.
Yeah, don't see why not. I can't use it.
Thank you. I shall guard it well. There is cause to hope. For every ending, every parting, marks a new beginning.
Sad music plus foreshadowing dialogue. Griffin talking to Griffin. Well done, brother. You may resume your normal duties and rejoin the others. The coming battle shall be our greatest yet, and I intend to start with you all on that glorious day. Sorry, stand with you all on that glorious day. So that was... what was his name? Galleon? And this is the true Griffin. True believers are so readily led. Of course the Ascians are involved. I've never given them anything that... I've given them everything they desired, all for which they prayed. I doubt you can say the same for your pawns. Get what you wanted then. Was it all worth it in the end? There was some unexpected developments, but they were ultimately to our advantage. Be it a host to a surfeit of light or dark, a world bereft of equilibrium is but a void in waiting, and the void is of no use to my master. I shall follow her emissary with great interest. So we get the confirmation there that there needs to be a balance for every joining. If it's completely overwhelmed, if it's lost to one or the other, Zodiac has no use for it. And he also says that he's rather creepily going to follow her emissary, so follow Minfilia with interest. As for the pawns whom you so pity, they have delivered unto me a gift which I do now present to you. But this is the Warriors of Darkness. They have presented the 2 eyes of Nidhogg, which they recovered. You remember that the Paladin of Darkness recovered the eyes from below the final steps of faith. The eyes of Nidhogg. Many were the candidates considered, but by your deeds you have proven yourself the most deserving. I love how the eyes keep on changing size. A man of boundless rage and bottomless despair, in whose breast beats a heart which thirsts for vengeance. Only you are fit to wield these eyes, for weal or for woe. What might the Griffin do with 2 eyes of enormous etheric power? We'll find out. The plains of Carthno. And here we have Nero. So it was here all along. Oh, just you wait, my pretty. You and I are going to have so much fun. We've not had any huge interactions with Nero because we haven't done the Crystal Tower stuff in this playthrough thing. But he was quite instrumental with all of the stuff in the actual Crystal Tower plot lines all the way through. So whilst he's not made much of an appearance for us since the 2.x conclusion, 2.0 conclusion actually, where we beat him in the was it the Praetorium or was it Castra Meridianum? One of the two. He has been integral to one of the main storylines. So anyway, that was patch 3.4, and I think I've summed up my general thoughts on patch 3.4 quite well as we've been going through. All of the stuff to do with Garbu was obviously quite emotive and powerful. Loss of a parent, or parents in that case, quite an emotional storyline, especially if, as I had when I played through, I'd recently lost a family member. The next chunk of stuff with Minfilia and their reunion and the culmination of the Warriors of Darkness storyline and finding out what they had sacrificed and what they had fought for and what they had ultimately lost in trying to make a difference. That's pretty powerful stuff as well. So whilst there's plenty of emotional stuff in previous patches, I think this has got such a concentration of it, and even so, that stuff to do with Papalima, that narration towards the end, is very much kind of foreshadowing something dark and ominous to come. And of course, the eyes of Nidhogg are still in play. So 3.5 parts 1 and 2 are very much going to be the run-up to Stormblood. The Dragonsong War stuff is pretty much done and dusted now, and it is the lead-up to the Alamigo stuff that is going to occupy the rest. The stuff to do with Ida and what's going on in her head, the stuff to do with Papalimo and what he's concerned about and why he should never have given her the mask. We've got a lot of good stuff to come, some epic stuff, some really epic stuff actually. In part 2, we've got a new dungeon, and we've got a solo duty to do as well. It's good stuff. So yeah, I mean, from a writing standpoint, I loved 3.4. There was some really good writing all the way through Heavensward, which is why I know a lot of people prefer it over Stormblood, because they feel like the stuff especially in the kind of the very first few stages and the final few stages, the Alamigo stuff in Stormblood, they feel like it's not quite as earned. I'm hoping, of course, that in the kind of 4.x series of patches, and the next one's, is it due out October? I think something like that, mid-October, should be 4.1. So I'm hoping that the storyline in that will live up to the standard of things like 3.4. But there we go, 10 out of 10 for patch 3.4. Absolutely loved it. Thought it was brilliantly written, brilliantly voice acted as well, and it hit home with the feels when realistically you wanted the feels to hit home. So there we go. That is the end of this episode. Next time, I'm honestly not entirely sure how long patch 3.5 parts 1 and 2 will take. I know there is a dungeon to do, so it will take a chunk of time, and a solo duty to do. But there's also a lot of cutscenes that I can remember because obviously it's setting up for the expansion. So that might be a two-parter as well. We shall have to wait and see. But for now, oops. from Demajen and myself, Toodle Pip. See you in the next episode.